The government has confirmed the public sector pay freeze will be lifted, meaning millions of people will see their wages rise next year.
Well, the Business Minister, Paul Scully, joins us now. Good morning, Mr Scully. Thank you for being here. So, with cuts to universal credit early this month, and we know that the cost of living is rising and is going to continue to rise, the key question is, honest answer, will people notice that they're any better off?
I think in terms of the public sector, we will see what the public review bodies report back in the new year, and that will be based on the evidence around inflation and other pressures on the cost of living, and obviously what how the public finances can stand. But we want to make sure that the 5 million people in the public sector get just a reward for the work that they do. Similarly, we've increased the national living wage by 6.6% as well, so the lowest paid in our society. We don't want to be basing a recovery on the backs of those people. We want to invest in people. Businesses should be investing in people, and that's why we're giving them a pay rise as well.
But the lowest paid in society may well also be on universal credit. Do you know how many hours you can work if you have universal credit?
Well, so that you have different people will be in different circumstances, because, as you say, universal credit does cover out of work benefits. It also covers in work benefits as well.
You can work 16 hours, can't you? You can work up to 16 hours and still have universal credit. Now, if you are on minimum wage and your hourly rate goes up by 59 pence, as it will do, you make £9.44 extra a week, but you're taking £20 off them a week already in universal credit. How is that? You know, you're giving with half a hand and taking away with two.
Well, I think the first thing, the universal credit reversal itself was there. The £20 uplift was there for an emergency measure. We've come towards the end of the emergency as we get to the economic recovery now. So that's why that's
ended. Not in people's households. You may have, in a political sense, feel you've come to the end of an emergency. That is not the truth for people who are worried about their rising fuel prices, the rising cost of petrol, being encouraged to go into work and not work from home. All of that adds to the cost of living.
Yeah, Ranvir, what I was going to continue to say is that we've also got the, that's why we've brought in the household fund, £500 million that's going to be delivered through local authorities, because we want to target the support, really, because the universal credit is really good, but it's quite a wide tool. Household funds targets at the most vulnerable. We also have the energy price cap, the warm home discount, free childcare hours, which is worth up to about the increase about £5,000 per child per year. So there's a significant amount of other things that are going on top of that. So you have to look at it in the whole.
Have you given up on the high street completely? Because there is no reform of business tax, is there? And Keir Starmer was on the show. I know that, you know, in terms of national living wage, they only want £10, so, you know, there's not a huge amount of difference between you and them on that. But in terms of, you know, the sort of commercial property tax, the high street wants their business rates to be cut by a third, because the high street is dying a death. But you're doing nothing about it.
Direct answer to your first question is absolutely not. The high street does have a future. It will change, it will adapt, but no. But in terms of the business rates, that's because we have a fundamental business rates review, which is due to report back in the autumn.
Several times. There isn't enough time to save the high street, is there now?
It's reporting back in the autumn. We'll get there, and the clue's in the name. It's fundamental, because we need to make sure that rate is that tax is there, fit for the 21st century, fit for online. What Labour have said, they've just said they want to abolish it. Clearly, that's going to be popular for people. Abolishing taxes is always good. They haven't said what they wanted to put it in place with, apart from maybe a property tax. Well, that property might be a business. The tax is going to be based on rates, so effectively, you just got business rates with another name. They're not really being straight with people.
What's your personal view as a politician on government by leaks? Because we seem to know pretty much everything now that's going to be in the budget tomorrow. It's all been leaked over the last 2 or 3 days. It's a complete volte-face from the way it used to be, where people sat down with some excitement to watch a budget because they didn't know what was going to be said. Do you think it's an effective way to govern the country, just to basically keep leaking stuff to the press?
I think there's a lot to come tomorrow. What you're going to find tomorrow is that the Chancellor has, he's the only one with that helicopter view. He's the only one that can see the public finances, the forecasts ahead, and where we need to be shaping our sort of fiscal approach, our tax approach, and spending within each of the departments as well. So there's a lot of work gone in. So the Chancellor's big moment will still come tomorrow. There'll still be plenty of stuff for you to see. But it's right that we talk about these things, especially, as I say, about the increase in the national living wage, which is giving that pay rise sacrifice for so many millions of people, to take them out of poverty, to make sure that we can end low pay by 2024, and discuss it on shows like yourself this morning.
We asked Keir Starmer, who was in live on the show yesterday, basically what the point of Labour is at the moment, given that the Conservative Party in this government basically seems to have stolen most of the Labour Party's clothes in what they would do if they were in government in terms of public spending, these rises, everything that we've been talking about. And I think it was Harold Macmillan, wasn't it, who, when asked what the inner truth of politics was, simply said, events, dear boy, events. And I just wonder if your government is completely subsumed by events and it's actually impossible for you to pursue a kind of a broader philosophy of government and politics. You're just basically having to firefight every morning that you wake up.
There's clearly a lot of pressures on government and society at the moment in terms of the cost of living. But no, we've said right in our manifesto we want to end low pay by 2024 by bringing the national living wage up to the 2/3 of the median wage. By that point, we're on target for doing so, despite events. But that is done in a balanced way so that we're not stifling the recovery. We are the party for business. We want to make sure we've issued a hospitality recovery strategy that's working really closely with the hospitality sector to make sure that not only are we getting through this recovery now, but we're building in resilience to that sector. Same with the retail sector, same with small businesses, with our Help to Grow programs, which are going to improve productivity through our small businesses across the country.
Just finally, if we can just refer to something which has been sort of bubbling through today's show, we can talk about China. China's not coming to the conference next week. We know now, because Mr. Putin telephoned Boris Johnson yesterday, he's not coming either because he's got issues at home.
COP26.
Pardon?
COP26.
COP26 we're talking about, yeah. So, you know, the two big players aren't going to be there. Our viewers are saying that they're starting to boycott Chinese goods. They're taking direct action to bring China to the table on climate change. Do you think we need to do something a bit more as a government with China and to get them to listen to what the problem is?
I think COP26 is clearly a challenge because we are the world is going to be looking on us to come up with these solutions to make sure that we can drive towards net zero by 2050. Interestingly, when we took charge of the presidency, there were 30% of the countries in the world that were signed up to committed to going net zero by 2050. That figure is now at 80%. But clearly, as you say, some of the big polluters still remain unreformed, and we've really got to double down and make sure that we can work to getting them to the table to make sure that we can get them to all come together to agree to terms that's going to help save our planet.
Boris Johnson himself has admitted it's going to be very, very tough to get anything out of COP26 now. But thank you, Paul Scully, for joining us. Just to be clear, that the Chinese envoy is coming to COP26, but not President Xi Jinping, and all the other leaders are, in fact, themselves turning up.